I teach an enrichment group, lots of students are here. We were talking about issues in the local area, and what was coming up mostly from the class and from, I do a lot of work with the school council coming up, is the two big issues, which I think you've been quizzed on, is the curfew in the local area, and also provision for young people as well, as we go through. So I was wondering if we could do a little thing while Tom works it out about your views on it, and then the students could ask you some questions. Would that be okay?
Of the issue with young people. So when you're a young person, you want somewhere to hang out, you want somewhere to be with your mates. That's not always in your room. And actually, all the older people who are complaining now, they always used to go out and hang out on the streets when they were younger. So I think sometimes older people need to chill out a bit, be a bit less intimidated, and recognise that actually most young people aren't out there to cause trouble. They just want somewhere to be with their friends and to have a good time. At the same time, young people have to recognise that if an older person sees a group of people who are scuffling and fighting a bit, swearing loudly, smoking something where they're not quite sure what it is, they are going to find that concerning and intimidating. So,
I know I was saying to some of you, it's actually, we can stand and say as many times as you like that these guys aren't causing problems, these are the good guys, you know, but you have to use your voice as well to show people that you're not causing the problems. You know, you've got to be, as I know you are, because you've just been to us, extremely courteous. And, you know, I mean, I can remember when I was probably about your age, we had really, really bad snow. And we used to go around and help clear old people's, or older people's pathways and things like that. It built up a rapport with the local people in the area. And if you know, are courteous, if someone's coming along on a motorised buggy, if you stand out the way, morning, afternoon, courtesy never hurts anybody.
The idea of curfews, because obviously as young people, you don't have a right to, you know, go to a pub and drink before you're 18 and this, that and the other based on age. I think there's something very, very fundamental about when we say you don't have a right to be in public at a certain time. I think there's something very, very fundamental about democracy, and I'm completely against the idea of curfews, simply because to actually infringe an entire group of people's right to go where they wish just because of a minority, well, where does it stop? There. You can apply that to pretty much any demographic in society. Because there are a couple of people that give you a bad name, suddenly strip away an entire raft of rights for that entire group of people. I think that's wrong, so I think the idea of curfews is completely wrong. And as far as young people go, I gave the example that I had to deal with a serious problem in my ward a few days ago with the police, and the way when I said, when I phoned them, that several people in my ward causing a nuisance, the way they responded, young yobs, incredibly irritated me, because that's neither here nor there. You don't know who it is, and it's not acceptable to brand anyone with a label before you know them. They had no idea if they were young or not. So I don't support curfews. I think it's complete.
Angry. The problem with going last is, of course, you don't want to just repeat everything everybody said. So I'm not going to do that. The thing is, in Stamford and Corrigan, it's quite an interesting community in the sense that we have a. So, for example, my area, Stamford and Corrigan, we've got lots of schools. We've also got a large concentration of elderly people's complexes in social housing. So you've got two communities that, by and large, have got very different interests that often put them at loggerheads. Young people, old people, young people, older people. And that's sometimes where the problem comes. And Councillor Anderson touched on it, it's a specific case point. People standing outside of a property on the public highway might necessarily be causing a problem, but genuinely, old lady might be scared, and you know that's why she might find the place. That then gets your back up. You're not doing anything wrong. There's obviously two sides to this. That the small minority often ruin it for the rest of us. That's why generally young people get the label as inconsiderate yobbos, which of course is a complete image that is the image that's wrong. 99.9% of young people are perfectly decent people who contribute a lot more. And let's not forget that it's going to be our generation that are going to end up having to pick up a lot of the bill in the future, in terms of higher contributions for pensions and things, in terms of putting back into a system that lots of these people who are complaining are enjoying now. And that's one thing that obviously, when you look into a little further, is something to consider. I'm not going to lie to you, I think what you're talking about is the dispersal order. There was a dispersal order in Corringham Town Centre, but that subsequently finished, and the police have to reapply for the dispersal order. And I have been asking for that dispersal order to come back, purely on the simple reason we had a case in point where there are problems in a particular area of the town where a lady and a 16-year-old girl were actually physically assaulted by a group of that 0.1%. And it's things like that that give people the peace of mind. So if it wasn't an issue, we wouldn't need it. But what we do need is we need the police to be doing more. They need to be pulling their weight more. The issue is not so much that we need to we'll all be playing our part, and Councillor McPherson touched on some of it, but the thing is that we all contribute to the system, and the police are there to expect to deal with that 0.1%, and they should be doing a lot more in Corringham Town Centre to make sure that we don't need orders or anything else like that. So people who are causing nuisance and causing damage and making people's lives a misery are basically see the full throat of the system, and then they end up being bought to.
Mate, don't put that on.
Feel free, Michael.
In
They don't do local
reverse order, we have
So in what order, sorry?
reverse order.
Oh, God. Don't feel this.
You want to leave that? No, I'm not joking. Reverse order was 4th place, Councillor Anderson. In 3rd place, Councillor Holden.
What?
And in 2nd place, Councillor McPherson. And with the highest points ever, because he's a charter merchant. And I told you not to get.
Solomon, why do you think the question of dispersal came up?
Because I think it's quite a sort of controversial issue at the moment. Sort of people want it in the sort of local area, but some people don't. And I think it should be introduced because if people are causing a nuisance, then they should be sort of pushed to one side and kept away.
But some people say that's like a police state. People should have the freedom to be able to walk around Corringham Town Centre if they choose.
Yeah, but then they're sort of, I don't know, sort of abusing that freedom of having the right to spend time in a sort of town centre. They're causing a nuisance and they shouldn't be there. They should go back to where they came from.
Did you enjoy the session? What did you think of this morning's session?
It was a really good session. It was good to see the councillors' views on things going on in the local area.
What particular issues interested you?
I liked the way we were talking about the dispersal order and the opinions on that, and I think Councillor McPherson's idea of having a space where we can just go and not be interrupted in the evenings is a very good idea.
Because a lot of times young people just want to hang out.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be a law against it.
No, definitely not.
Is the topic of it just the dispersal order? Is it something that has been in conversation young people from Corringham?
I think it has. I think that because there is a dispersal order, I don't think it should ruin it, make us think that we can't go into the town centre, and the fact that we're going to get pushed out at a certain time. And I think that the 1% that are ruining it for the rest of us is a bit unfair.